powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome back to another episode of Mystique Femininity. This is a message that I really wrestled with in wanting to record because I never want to seem overly trendy, but it is something that, in order for you to truly live in the most highest form, there is a need to shred anything that no longer serves you. You may feel this urge, but you really can't articulate it. But there'll be a feeling that you need to change your habits and your identity or just your whole way of being. And if you have felt this episode is for you. Now, we're going to be talking about things that may appear on the surface to be just your average personal growth sort of subjects, because that is a very, very, very much pushed in our society. Everyone needs to be doing some sort of life hack, some sort of self efficiency, productivity, but here in this podcast, it is always heavily grounded in the bridging of the spiritual, the divine, into the practical of this world, and how we are, as women, are able to be that conduit to bridge both sectors together. So, we're going to be talking about not just personal growth, but spiritual editing. This is about clearing your space of things that are no longer needed so that your true essence can emerge. And we can do this without shame, without guilt, and without the need to explain our evolution to anyone. Now, I want you to just take a deep breath, and this moment is for you. So, the first thing I want to cover is this energetic clutter that we carry. We accumulate a lot of energetic weight, roles that we no longer resonate with, or if we ever resonated with them, environments that no longer reflect our worth, and habits born from survival, not softness. And I just want to really put a hard stamp on the habits. A lot of the habits that we develop are out of necessity versus this desire to be something. And this is extremely for those women who are considered overachievers, perfectionists, and I use that in air quotes, any of those sorts of flows. A lot of these habits that you have been rewarded for are not habits that are of your true essence, but are out of necessity for survival. And this is not something that I take lightly to say, because it is very much important to acknowledge why certain behaviors are going forth. It's not because you're some um, deep person in the respects of those sorts of habits. It's out of necessity. And if you watch your patterns over the years, there's been things that have occurred that have made you have to operate in a certain way. And this can prolong your abilities to finally get back to your true essence. This is something that causes a lot of exhaustion. And when I see women, especially those in their midlife and older, they wonder why they're so exhausted. I'm so tired. Well, you're operating out of sorts, out of alignment with who you are, and for prolonged years, this is extremely taxing. So, as I'm going through these things today, I really want you to give yourself a lot of grace, a lot of mercy for where you are and where I've been in what points of my life, and really being able to understand that you did what you had to do, but there becomes a time where we have to take a big risk, a big leap to begin to pivot in order for us to actually get to live the life that we wanted while we are here. Now, here's something that is a deep truth. You're not what you built in burnout. You are not the identity you crafted just to feel safe, liked, or useful. You are allowed to evolve and edit. Think of your life as a living manuscript, not a finished book. Every version of you has brought you here, but not every version of you belongs in the next chapter. Really take heed to this message today. Often we are very scared to change who we are because we fear that people will reject us. Oh, you've changed. Yeah, I mean, I'm no longer the person I was. Maybe there's some new information. So you were operating under the basis of the information you had. And now you got some new information. And now it's like, oh, wait, actually, I can do XYZ as well. Or, you know what? That really never fit me well. Now I can put on this. And this fits me much better. You have to be of the mind that you deserve to live a life that you are happy with in whatever way that may be. As long as it doesn't harm anyone, then wonderful. That is what you should strive for. But I know that people sometimes can make comments because let's just be real blunt and honest. There are some people who are very vested in you remaining the same because they benefit from it. They benefit from the identity that you crafted under the duress of burnout. And that could be your job, that could be a spouse, that could be a friend or family. There are people very, very vested in you remaining the way you are because it benefits them. So if you've always been that overachiever, overworker, do it with a smile, no complaints, putting everyone's needs above yours, people will have a few things to say when they begin to notice this shift. And you're going to have to stand very firmly rooted and grounded in the divine, that what you're doing is going to be the best for you. And that could mean the evolution means that not, every identity of you doesn't go into the next chapter. That also means not everyone that you're connected to goes into the next chapter. And that's perfectly okay. Everyone has a choice to make in where they are in evolution. And you, my darling, deserve to be in the next chapter in a way that is most soothing to you. Now, shame is not sacred, and I want you to release it. Many of us carry shame for changing, for quitting the job, for saying no to friendships that become draining, that are not reciprocal, for outgrowing the way we always looked, lived, and loved. But shame has no place for self-refinement, sacred self-refinement at that. It is a tool of resistance, not alignment. You are not selfish for choosing peace. You are not being fake for changing your mind. And you are not disloyal for evolving. When we edit with intention, we make room for deeper elegance, a truer glow. It scares some people to see growth. And as I sit here, I am brought to a message that when you evolve, that can be very activating for a lot of people that you are around. And therefore, the reactions that you're getting can be a great indicator of the growth that you've done in yourself, because it starts to activate other people. It triggers them. Your evolution triggers people. And again, if you're doing this with the right intentions, feel very assured and comfortable and somewhat happy that you took the steps to evolve, and that has left an imprint on others, and hopefully they're ready to receive that activation in order for them to evolve as well. And I think that can be such a beautiful gift. And even if it's that you have to part ways with that individual, maybe after some time, that activation will eventually become non scary for them, and they too begin to develop in a better, greater way. Now, editing with elegance. It is a 3-step process. So, I want to talk about this on a very practical level, because we're in this 3D reality. Like, there are things that have to get done, but you can do these things in a very gentle yet very powerful way. Number one, audit your energetic closet. I have worked with a lot of women under a more of a fashion sense and image consulting. The things that I always would ask them is, look at your closet and be ruthless. What here do you really feel represents who you are? Not who you used to be, not who you want to be in a sense, but who you are today. Like, does the items fit you well? Does it accentuate the things that you want to have accentuated? Does it really bring you to life? Now, I took that mindset and translated it to the energetic fields. So I want you to ask, what in my daily life feels heavy, not holy? Where do I feel small when I want to feel seen? And I just want you to take a journal, and I want you to just write what comes up. And this will help you to surface what's due for release. And you have to be ruthless and honest with yourself. I think we get a little scared when we are honest, because once we're honest, then we need to make moves. And the making of the moves can feel daunting because of what potentially we may believe that we are giving up. We think that what we're giving up is so much better, when in reality, once you do, and there's some time, you'll look back and say, wow, I don't know why I didn't make this move sooner. And it's not to say that when we release, that we may release people, and it's not to say that that doesn't hurt. There are times that I've had to release, completely block out family, friends, people who I really, truly loved. But at the end of the day, I have to be accountable to myself and accountable for the way that I govern my life. And that means sometimes we have to part ways. And that part ways could be people, but also beliefs, identities, and habits. Number two, create emotional closure rituals. Whether it's writing a goodbye letter to an old version of yourself, or lighting a candle as you say thank you and goodbye, or a little bit deeper, some cord cutting rituals. This can help you to give yourself closure for this part of your life. You know, we can release and say goodbye to expired roles that we played, and the people that may play in those roles. But this allows us to acknowledge what was, reflect on what was, what nuggets, because I believe in every situation, be it the identities that we've held and why, we're able to gain nuggets of knowledge and wisdom that we can take with us. But the thing in which it may have been birthed from does no longer serve us. And so this is something I believe very, very, very much is important in order for you to be able to move and navigate effortlessly, is to close out that chapter of yourself with love. And the third part of this would be to choose one tiny visible shift. Maybe it's clearing your home of visual clutter. Maybe it's finally wearing that item that really reflects your current energy. Or maybe it's updating your calendar to reflect new boundaries. One visible shift sends your soul a message. We're serious about evolving, and that's powerful. I know, and I've engaged with women who are scared to wear certain clothing items or wear their hair a certain way or wear a certain makeup look because they're scared to be seen. But by embracing something that seems very minuscule in the grand scheme of it, because clothes you can take off, makeup washes off, hair, depending on how you put it in and what is done, that can take a little bit longer. But overall, those cosmetic sorts of changes helps to shift your energy, but are very much low risk. You can always take the item off and it's not going to do harm to you. But wearing the thing that may make you feel excited, makes you feel good, makes you feel sensual is very sacred. And it's needed in order to shift things around because we get very, very comfortable with the way things are. And by doing some shifts, doing some pivots, I am always experimenting with my look, with different things that I may take for supplementation, for things that I read. Like there's always something I'm experimenting with. And part of that is so that I'm never just super comfortable with everything, because then that makes it a little bit more difficult. Not say that it's impossible, but it makes it more difficult to have the motivation to do swift pivots. And it also helps you to be able to pivot when things that are on the more grander scale happen. Life will pivot you. And I feel those that are able to take what's been given to them and rebound quicker are able to move much faster. It's not to say that they don't grieve, especially if it's something, say, there's so many of us that have been laid off, that may have lost a family member, that have just had different things happen. You have to be able to move with what is being brought forth, and locking down on what was out of the sheer fear of what's the unknown causes us much more pain than we realize. Now, I want to be able to give you something to anchor yourself with. As you move through these edits, I want you to remember you are not starting over. You are just becoming more true to who you are. You're making space not just for a better life, but for a holier one. One that reflects your softness, your soul, and your sacredity. Let your refinement be your rebellion. Let it be the true return to you. This season has been full of remembering for me. In our next episode, which will be the season finale, I really wanted to hone in on that softness isn't weakness, which is something I feel is deeply rooted in our society. Anything of the feminine is hated, and feminine energy isn't a trend, it is a birthright. It is something that has been with us for centuries, and that there is beauty in being able to acknowledge that. That beauty isn't just maintenance, it's not just performance, it is true embodiment. And I just want to leave you with this notion that you are not here to perform, perfection. You're here to return to your presence. Now, if you are ready to enter your next season with intentional support, to be witnessed, held, and guided as you reclaim your softness, I would love it if you would book a free consultation with me. This is a moment for you to realign. You do not have to carry the old into the new, and you do not have to do it alone. I will have the link to my booking in the show notes. And until next time, remain in love, remain sacred, remain true to you.